Alright, so let's take a close look on what an if block is. A lot about making codes is writing instructions like we do with the methods. Okay, so we have a start method where we change the name of the cube. We have an update method that is going to change the size of the cube while the game is running, and we made a method that, well, improves the string that we put here, for example. But sometimes we have to check for certain conditions, to check if certain conditions are met. So for example, in a first-person shooter, a player could only fly if they have a jetpack equipped. We can only buy a certain bicycle in our game if we have enough money. Okay, so for example, we can only enter a dungeon if we are in the level 50 or more than that. So several times, okay, lots and lots of times, every time, in every game you can imagine, you are always asking questions. Okay, the code is always verifying, comparing things, comparing numbers to see if these things are true. Okay, so a quick way that we can learn how to use an if block is just go to our start method, and we're going to type here if. We're going to open and close parentheses, then we're going to open and close curly braces. Okay, so this is an if block, and whatever we put here between parentheses is going to be our question. So for example, we can ask if 1 plus 1 equals to 2. Notice that different from the assignment operation where I use only one equal sign, we are using two equal signs. So we're going to compare if whatever we have to the left of this sign is the same thing than what we have to the right. So we're asking if 1 plus 1 equals to 2. If this is true, then whatever we put in this scope definition here, so between these curly braces, is going to be executed. So I'm going to type here debug.log, and we want to print a simple message. Okay, so we open and close parentheses, add a semicolon, and now we're going to add the string "we're here." Okay, so we can save this, and if we go to Unity and wait for this compilation to be complete, we're going to press the play button, and after we do this, we print the message "we're here." Okay, so it's right here in the console. It means that whatever we put there is true. But what if we ask for something else? What if we want to ask if the string cats equals to the string dogs? Okay, so we are comparing two strings in here. We want to see if they are basically the same. So if we save this and we go to Unity and wait for this compilation to be finished, if we press the play button, okay, notice that nothing appeared in here. And better yet, there was something very interesting. Let me just recompile this code again. Once the compilation is finished, we have a warning. Okay, so it says here, at the line 14 of the cube script, we have a warning called unreachable code detected. Why does this happen? It happens because we are adding a comparison in here. We ask if cats equal to dogs. But the compiler already knows that this is never going to be true. There is no way, okay, it's not possible that it is going to be true at a certain time. Better than this, internally, once the code is being compiled, it's automatically converting this to false. Okay, so whatever we put between curly braces, it doesn't matter how many lines we add here, this code is unreachable. Okay, it's never going to be executed. So what if we add here can't be executed? Okay, so let me come back here. Okay, so we have cats equal to dogs. What if you want to execute something only if what we put here is false, so it's a lie? We could add here another line. So we could add another instruction, so we could just add an if block, and we could ask, for example, if cats is different than dogs, for example. Okay, so this is what we need to do to ask if something is different. This would work. Okay, so we can type debug.log, we're there, for example. So if we save this and go to Unity and wait for the compilation to complete, we could press the play button once more. Okay. So we press that and we have the "weird there" message. Okay, so we successfully see that this is a true statement. But there's another way to do this. Instead of adding another if block to check if the opposite of what we added here is true, we can just add the else keyword. Okay, so we open and close parentheses, and we can type here debug.log. Let's say here this is false. Okay, so here we can add it's true. And here we can say this is false. Okay, so or just it's false. Okay, so that's pretty much what we need to do to understand a few conditions. So we can compare things like this. We can compare if things are equal. We can compare if 50 is greater than 10, for example. There are different things that we can add. We can compare if 32 is lesser or equal than 40, for example. We can do all of these verifications here. But for this game, we just want to ask if is rotated equals to true. Okay, we don't want to check anything else. Even better, since is rotated is a Boolean variable, we can even not add this here. We can just type if is rotated, because this is already something that is going to return either true or false. And if this is rotated, we want to change the rotation of the cube. So to do this, we're going to type here transform dot local Euler angles equals to vector3.1 multiplied by 45. Okay, it's basically going to tilt the cube a little bit on all of the three axes. Okay, you don't need to understand the details of this, but anyway, we reach the transform component. We are accessing the local Euler angles property, so we can set the rotation of the cube in Euler angles, which vary from 0 to 360. And we're saying that it's going to be 45 on x, y, and z. And if we save this and go to Unity, and if we wait for this compilation to complete, we can press the play button, and notice that nothing happened. This is the behavior that is going on here, because we started the game with is rotated set as false. Okay, so the check mark is unmarked. But if we come here and mark this is rotated and press the play button, now the cube is tilted. Okay, so it successfully changed the rotation of this cube by just marking this little checkbox in here. Okay, so with this we can already work with rotating the cube. Okay, to work with if blocks. Alright, so now that we have this, we took a look on some nice, interesting concepts on coding in C# and for Unity in general. So another thing that is going to be very powerful is to use loops. Okay, so when we use loops, we can perform an operation several times. Let's understand how to do this in the next video.